I need a username. And I have a great one. Little Kid Lover. That way people will know exactly where my priorities are at.
By the way, he gave me permission to touch him.
Actually talking about there at the NRA meeting that's today in Texas. Someone should bomb that building.
Day 66, being a girl, and today I'm in nature. Trees, I love them. Water, lakes, I love them. Heels, they're my hiking heels. I love them.
I'm shocked by it, so I'm up here bashing it because I don't like gay people. I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay. Do you understand that? Serious crap.
Everybody is going to get to know each other in the pot. I'm serious about this stuff.
What a stupid son of a bitch.
I enjoy having breakfast in bed. I like waking up to the smell of bacon. Sue me.
How dare you?
And your favorite dish?
My favorite dish? I like mugs because they're very comfortable in your hand and they hold hot things.
Describe your perfect date.
I'd have to say April 25th.
I mean, this is...
If I had a gun with 2 bullets and I was in a room with Hitler, Bin Laden, and Toby, I would shoot Toby twice.
Yeah. That's,
okay,
you were
all
being
right.
really funny, and then you went too far.
It was bad. It was bad for Trump to meet with.
To keep alive the truth and honor of the Holocaust, horror of the Holocaust.
Fuck.
Is it bad advice to say, like, go outside Ted Cruz's house and just shoot in the air?
Yes.
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 Why are you running? Why are you running?
You shout like that, they put you in jail. Right away. No trial, no nothing.
Sexism in gaming.
Journalists, we have a special jail for journalists.
Scroats McGoat says, last night as a member, if Tim doesn't disavow Eliza tonight, get the out, Scroats McGoat. Bye-bye.
If you don't like it, don't watch it. Peace.
Now, bitch. See how you like guns outside your house. Get a fake tactical nuke.
Oh my God! Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm. What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure?
Stay calm.
Oh, you know it, lad. You know that Hassan Piker. I'm coming to kill you in Los Angeles at your house. Or in the ring. No, in real life.
All right, mic check. Here we go. Last night I started streaming and didn't even have my mic on, so hopefully I don't make these rookie mistakes again. All right, so I have no idea how long I'm going to be on tonight, guys. I'm super beat. We had my kid's final game of the season before the playoffs, and my daughter had a practice as well, so we only got home like an hour and a half ago. I'm dead dog tired, but I wanted to kind of cover this a little bit. Let me finish wrapping up, sending out a couple of alerts. But basically, I mean, in case you were under a rock today, it was made official about, I don't know, 3 o'clock my time, a little bit, maybe like 2:45, that DeSantis was in fact going to run against Trump in the primaries. I'm really curious if we're even going to have a proper debate, to be honest, because it doesn't seem like anybody wants to actually have debates anymore. I mean, we all saw that during the election 2019 going to 2020 with all the COVID scare, that it just didn't seem like, debates are something that anybody's even interested in doing, which kind of sucks because as much as we don't actually learn anything from a debate, I kind of feel like it's still necessary, even if it's just for show. I mean, most of us kind of go into it with our minds already made up. But, you know, it just seems like such a weird breach of etiquette to not continue to at least have the formality of the debates. I mean, maybe you guys could change my mind on that. I don't know. While I'm not one that's actually, I don't have my opinion swayed very often by a political debate or a campaign. I've never contributed to a political campaign in my life. I don't give them my money. It's like, it's bad enough that we have to vote for the same 2 parties every year. Last thing I'm doing is giving some random candidate my money. That's just like a really bad idea. But I want to jump into covering some of the This is how tired I am. I can't even think of the word that I'm looking for. Let me finish my tea and then I'll figure it out. Nope, still doesn't come to me. Whatever, we're just gonna go with it. The side effects, I guess you could say, of the election or the announcement by DeSantis. So it was made public information yesterday that he was gonna go on this Twitter space with Elon today to make his candidacy, his bid for the White House official. Really interesting idea. I think nobody would second guess like the decision to do it as like it's a cool spectacle because it's never been done before, right? We've never had a political candidate actually make the announcement that they're going to run for office on frickin' Twitter or Facebook or Instagram or anything. It's never been done before. So it's quite an interesting idea. Don't get me wrong. It's like, I'm okay with DeSantis or Trump either way winning. I would think that Trump would have been smart enough to actually be the one to make his announcements via something like Truth Social or even Twitter or whatever. Like, he's supposed to be the guy that's got his finger on the pulse of the of tech and all that, right? I mean, yeah, Elon's the tech guy, but Trump is the Twitter shit poster. Like, for the last, 10, 15 years, he has been the king of Twitter. So it seems like a massively missed opportunity by Trump to not utilize that in any way. And of course, now that DeSantis has made his bid final, his official, now it seems that Trump is going to come back to Twitter. I'm sorry, why he hasn't come back up until now is a mystery to me. I don't understand it. I don't get it. I think it's, again, a massively missed opportunity on his part. I think it's dumb. I think he should have been back on Twitter the day that Elon reinstated his account. That's just me personally. Oh, hang on, I'm hiding. There we are. But I mean, I don't know. Who knows what actually makes these guys tick, right? So here we have, I'll refresh this one. This hashtag disaster has been trending. And what this is in regards to is at 3 o'clock, when the Twitter space was supposed to go live, we were supposed to be able to listen in to DeSantis talking with Elon, making his presidential bid official. The entire thing was a cluster. It was a god-awful train wreck. I tried multiple times to get into the space, and at about 200,000 listeners, I was able to get in. And then it started up, and they were talking for about 2 minutes, less than 2 minutes. By the time DeSantis started speaking, the entire thing froze. It crashed. It got up to like almost 600,000 people in the space, and then it just died, right? It completely fell apart. And so they got it back going again. And I saw it peak at about 280,000. I don't know if that was actual people in there or if it was just like weird, because again, it wasn't functioning properly. So it was like the entire space. I don't know if that was active people in there or people that were coming and going, or if it had holdover from the previous space. I have no idea how any of that works. I'm not a Twitter engineer. All I know is it was a god-awful disaster. Now, it's a technical difficulty. That happens. When Truth Social launched, it was a massive buggy mess. And sure, people wanted to dump on Trump. Now Trump's dumping on DeSantis and Elon. Okay, haha, everyone has their shitty 5 seconds where things don't go according to plan, right? That's just, to be fair, that happens to everybody. But it definitely was a less than flattering look. I'm not going to lie. As somebody who honestly doesn't care if it's Trump or DeSantis, it was not a good look for DeSantis. Especially then, because apparently he went on and it was just like this scripted thing. I mean, where Trump's appeal and where people can't stand him both kind of come in is the fact that he's off the cuff. He's not scripted. He's not using teleprompters. He's not doing any of this stuff. It is purely him speaking to the camera, speaking to the reporter, speaking to whoever he's talking to. And it's, he's shooting from the hip. It gets him in some trouble, but at the same time, it's kind of what people find endearing about Trump, right? And so, yeah, there's been a lot of memes about this. There's been a lot of shit that's come out, which is pretty fantastic. This one here, I'm actually going to I'm gonna unmute this because it's pretty funny. I'm restarting here. Hang on a second. So it's an AI Twitter space, and it's got, well, you'll be able to see. It's got Soros and Klaus Schwab and DeSantis and Dick Cheney, Adolf the Devil. It's got a few characters in it. We go ahead and unmute that.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to our Ron DeSantis Twitter space.
Hello? Is my microphone working correctly?
George, can you just wait while we...
Hello? Can you hear me?
We can all hear you, George. Can you just hold on for a second?
Hilfa, I don't think they can hear me.
I can hear you fine, George. Just speak.
I don't think George knows how to use Twitter.
Hello? Can you hear me now?
Can I please make my big announcement now? Everyone just...
Hello?
Just shut up, George.
Can somebody just mute George?
Dick, could you try not to cough on the...
Okay, so how are we going to take out Trump, you guys?
Guys from the FBI, this is not a private call. This is a public Twitter space. Everyone can listen in.
God damn it.
Anyway, guys, we invited everyone to this Twitter space so Governor Ron DeSantis could...
Everyone just shut the hell up so I can make my announcement, okay?
You go, girl.
Wait, the devil is gay?
So what? Everyone in this call is gay. I happen to know every single one of you has a secret gay lover hidden in your closet.
Mein Führer, ich kann nicht zulassen, dass die Soldaten, die für Sie
Guys, can we please just calm down?
So anyway, guys, I just wanted to announce that I'm...
Okay, I can hear the governor very well.
Shut up, Would you please shut up already? I'm running for fucking president, okay?
Yeah, we kind of already knew about it.
Know, Governor.
Congratulations, Governor.
Well, that concludes our Twitter space for today. Thank you to all of our...
Hold your horses, Elon. The real president is going to say a few words. The devil, I'm going to kick your ass very soon. Hitler, you're already dead. Dick Cheney sounds like you'll be joining Hitler very soon. Klaus Schwab and George Soros, I'm putting both your asses in jail. And Ron DeSanctimonius can kiss my big, beautiful 2024 presidential ass. Trump 2024, baby. Let's go.
I mean, again, I don't have any problem with DeSantis. I think he is a decent option, but I mean, that shit's pretty funny. So, yeah, this is a lot of what people are saying. This is again an opinion I'm seeing shared around from Patriot J. I'm not sure if any of you follow him or not. Ron DeSantis sounds like a politician reading off of a script, which is precisely the reason why I don't like him. Talk from your heart, be a real human being, not an NPC. And the funny thing is, I've seen DeSantis speak like from the heart, speak, a little bit more genuine and off the cuff. But apparently today was just not good. It left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths, which, to be fair, it was a weird situation, right? It was not exactly the ideal. I mean, look, on one side, they got a lot of people to tune in for that space, which is huge. That's fantastic, right? It's a great, great thing. But the problem is it just turned off. I would say, based on what I'm seeing online, it turned off as many people as it actually, convinced. I want to actually pull up the recording here, unless there's a snippet. Actually, I think Post Millennial has a snippet. Let me find them real quick. Because I know that they recorded this. Post Millennial, here we go. And I'd rather pull a clip from the recording rather than have to actually sit through the hour of it. Because I don't have that kind of time. I'm not going to make it that far. That's funny. Seamus from Freedom Tunes on Timcast said, it's remarkable to me that someone who said so many things that were so true could be so boring when addressed in such a plain, monotone way. And unfortunately, that's what I'm looking at. It's like, it seems that there are just a lot of people that and I didn't actually get to hear DeSantis on the space because I couldn't get back in. It's crazy. All right, so here let's play this clip. I have no idea what they're actually saying on this one.
Follow up to that, Governor, Dana mentioned Operation Choke Point, and that is a term that's very familiar to crypto companies in Silicon Valley and fintech companies. Basically, it refers to an effort by the federal government, including the SEC, to basically regulate blockchain and crypto companies out of existence. They really feel like they're being driven out of the country. And I'm not talking about scammy ones or the totally fake ones like FTX, but really high quality, good companies, including companies that are public, like Coinbase. And these guys are basically begging the government for just a framework. They're just like, tell us how to operate legally.
I don't know. I mean, this could just be one snippet, but I don't think he sounds scripted and monotone. I mean, it's essentially just a conversation or an interview, whatever you want to call it.
And we'll do it.
Doesn't sound that bad to me.
You know, I guess where do you come down on this? What is your view, I guess, broadly of Bitcoin and people's right to hold Bitcoin and to transact Bitcoin?
And Dogecoin.
You have every right to do Bitcoin. The only reason these people in Washington don't
Here's DeSantis, that's why. Okay. I was like, I like this guy's voice. And again, I haven't heard DeSantis speak a whole lot, so I was a little thrown off there for a second. Okay, so now we're up to DeSantis. All right.
It is because they don't control it. And they're central planners, and they want to have control over society. And so Bitcoin represents a threat to them. And so, as you're saying, they're trying to regulate it out of existence. Look, could Congress enact a statute to ban things like Bitcoin under the Constitution? They may be able to do. I would oppose that. I think people should be able to do Bitcoin. But Congress has never addressed this in this fashion. And for the bureaucracy to just do it on their own and make it so people can't operate in that space, that's what we mean when we say we've got to return the government to the people's elected representatives who are our voice to be able to make these decisions. And so as president, we'll protect the ability to do things like Bitcoin. I think these are people that are sophisticated. They can make decisions. There's risks involved with it, but let them do that. I just do not have an itch to have to control everything that people may be doing in this space. And I think that the current regime, clearly, they have it out for Bitcoin. And if it continues for another 4 years, they'll probably end up killing.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, so I was thinking that David, what's his name? David Sachs?
As a follow-up to that.
Hang on. David Sachs, yeah. I think he's actually, I don't know if he works at Twitter or what the deal is with him. But I was thinking that was DeSantis speaking for a second. And it's like, yeah, it obviously... it sounds okay. It sounds like the guy knows his shit. It's like then DeSantis starts speaking, and it's like, oh god. Let me play another clip. I'm curious because I didn't get to listen. I was tuned in at 3:00. I was ready to listen and try to see like what they were going to talk about. This is bad.
Finally, Biden's weaponized the power of the administrative state to advance his left-wing agenda. We will reconstitutionalize the executive branch, and we'll bring the administrative state to heel. Now, you can't do any of that if you don't win. There is no substitute for victory. We must end the culture of losing that has infected the Republican Party in recent years. The tired dogmas of the past are inadequate for a vibrant future. We must look forward, not backwards. We need the courage to lead, and we must have the strength to win. And to voters who are participating in this primary process, my pledge to you is this. If you nominate me, you can set your clock to January 20th, 2025 at high noon, because on the west side of the U.S. Capitol, I will be taking the oath of office as the 47th President of the United States. No excuses. I will get the job done.
God, that was terrible. Okay. Like, I've heard DeSantis speak before, and I've heard him address questions with reporters, and it didn't seem that dry. I don't know. That was terrible.
To build a beautiful wall. A question is a follow-up to you, Governor, on this very issue with immigration. We have heard a lot over the years. Lock her up, drain the swamp, going to build a beautiful wall. Mexico's going to pay for it. And crowds cheered, and everybody loved it, and brands got built, and nothing got done. What is the bottom line assurance that you can make to the people that are listening right now, all over the world and all over the country, that you can actually do the agenda that you just articulated when others tweeted about it and talked about it, but then couldn't actually follow through?
It's a great question because I share that frustration. I think even my worst critics in Florida will acknowledge when I tell people I'm going to do something.
Why does everything have to sound so like
say I'm going to do something lightly.
canned?
I thought it through. and I know that I am going to follow through on what I tell people I'm going to do. So this is one, there will be follow through. Number two, I understand the different leverage points that you would have under Article 2 of the Constitution. I studied that a lot at becoming governor about Florida's Constitution, doing the same thing for the federal Constitution. And you've got to know how to use your leverage to advance what you're trying to accomplish. So, for example, there's leverage that we can use vis-a-vis Mexico.
I'm waiting for him to. I'm waiting for him to bring up, leverage in the conversation about like how he's handled the whole Disney thing. Because I don't think like with the whole Disney thing in Florida that he's in the wrong necessarily. Disney should have never had their privileges that they have for their Reedy Creek state, or whatever they call it, their special zoning that they have. Because basically they were granted a government unto themselves, right? So that never should have happened in the first place. But what I find insane is that this just, God, okay, so the answer to, instead of Trump, is just to have another guy who just sounds like a canned politician who's just going to regurgitate the same crap over and over again. This can't be, oh my God.
Not been willing to do, I think sometimes for political purposes. But I'll look at, okay, what are all the variety of options we can do? Which buttons can I push? And I will do that to be able to bring this issue to a conclusion once and for all. We had Hurricane Ian come through Southwest Florida, Category 4+ storm, September of 2022, and it did a lot of damage. But one of the things it did, it knocked out a bridge going from the mainland to Pine Island, and it severed the Sanibel Causeway in 3 different locations. And the locals were being told it's going to take 6 months to get that stuff repaired. And so they came to me, even though these were not state-owned bridges, and they said, can you help us? And I said, okay, I'll do it. So I got my guys together. I said, listen, no bureaucracy, no red tape, and no excuses. Get it done. We need to open these bridges back. Pine Island Bridge reopened 3 days later. Sanibel Causeway opened 2 weeks after that, way, way ahead of schedule, because we wouldn't take no for an answer, and we wanted to make sure we got it done. So for me, it is not a campaign slogan that you get in and then forget about it. I'm, as an American citizen, if I wasn't running, this would be an issue that bothers me. I've put a lot of my capital as Florida governor involved in combating illegal immigration. We banned sanctuary cities my first year. We just did a strong anti-illegal immigration bill in Florida that's working. I've put marine assets in the Florida Keys.
Okay, so like I understand and can actually appreciate what he's saying there, because the fact is, as a governor, yes, he has done a lot to put forward legislation and try to institute change culturally, where they're going to try to like reel in some of like the insane woke crap. I get that. I appreciate all that. I understand what he's saying. It's not that DeSantis hasn't done a decent job as governor. Now, that's not counting the fact that DeSantis, during the 2020 lockdowns, I saw a video of him pushing the shot. He had some like 85-year-old World War II veteran or whatever they gave it to. 6 months later, the guy died. I'm not saying they're connected. I'm just saying there's that. Touting how effective the vaccines were, talking about how great it was that they were so fast to act about the lockdowns and stuff. The same as Trump. I mean, both of them have had the same exact position at different times. The difference, I think, honestly, is that DeSantis might have looked at it and said, this doesn't seem to be doing us any good, and we're going to destroy our economy. So DeSantis was smart enough to say, yeah, we're going to open back up. Obviously, that was the smart decision. But I still don't understand how this is supposed to be any different than Trump, and this is just a guy who's reading off a cue card. I don't know. Which one is this?
We also cannot have true constitutional government if the most significant issues are decided by the whims of unelected bureaucrats rather than the people's elected representatives. Reestablishing integrity in our institutions means we must reinvigorate our constitutional system by returning the government to its rightful owners, we the people.
I mean, I think he's putting people to sleep with this.
Without representation. Truth needs to be our foundation. Common sense can no longer be an uncommon virtue. And in Florida, we proved it could be done. We chose facts over fear, education over indoctrination, law and order over rioting. And
How many slogans can you cram into one 42-second clip? Okay, what's this one? DeSantis vows to end Biden's border crisis if elected president. Listen to this.
What is your take on what's going on there, and how would you address that as president?
Well, I'd reverse what Biden's doing. You need to shut the border down. You should not be entertaining these asylum claims for people crossing illegally. You know, asylum is a legitimate thing, but these are people that when they come, I mean, they're being persecuted. These people coming overwhelmingly are economic migrants that are coming across many other different countries. They should be applying for asylum there if they were, you know, truly qualifying.
Okay, that's a pretty based opinion. That's good. I mean, it's easy to say, though, and it's actually a lot harder to do.
For that, but they're not. They know that if they just show up at the southern border, and these are people all over the world that are coming illegally, they know that they will get a sheet of paper saying, okay, come back for a court date in 3 years, and they get released to the interior of our country. It's an absolutely insane system. So we'll stop that. We will move on day one by declaring a national emergency. We will construct a border wall. We will make sure we have remain in Mexico and that we're not entertaining those claims in that way. And we really need to hold the Mexican drug cartels accountable because they're facilitating a lot of this migration. They obviously make money off of it. They treat a lot of these people very horribly as they're trafficking them through Mexico and into the United States. And of course, the cartels have been responsible for moving massive amounts of fentanyl into this country. And that's killing tens of thousands of Americans every year now. And what they're doing is they lace the other types of drugs with the fentanyl. So you may have like a teenage kid doing something they probably shouldn't do, but in prior generations would not have been fatal. And now if it's laced with fentanyl.
I know I'm tired, but God, this is putting me to sleep. Okay. See, unfortunately, this is where Trump's appeal, as much as people have disdain for Trump for his attitude and his brash personality and his lack of couth and the fact that he'll just say whatever and piss people off, it's like, at the same time, he's entertaining. He's exciting. There's something there that actually wakes you up and gets your attention. DeSantis, this is like, oh my God, this is like watching like paint dry. So here, this is him talking about them having Disney World open. So let's see about this one.
And I'd also just finally point out, nobody probably has made Disney more money than me because they were open during COVID and they were closed in California. And that went on for many, many months.
That is true.
Literally, I had all the theme parks in Florida opened in 2020. People are going, it's safe, they're having fun. And the California parks were closed. I think they were closed for over a year out in California. So we were, I think, a much better place to be doing.
Now, that is very true. DeSantis, they were open by the summer, I want to say. The thing is, Disney World was not open at full capacity. From what I recall, I don't know, I could be wrong, they were operating at like 25% or 50% capacity for a while. But still better than nothing, right? I mean, it's ironic that Disney and DeSantis have been going at it for months. Because DeSantis saved Disney's ass. Like, not even joking. He literally saved their ass during COVID because hell, Florida was like one of the only states that had a major theme park that was actually open and operating in some capacity or another.
Governor, I want to ask you another topic that's been in the news a lot is Disney. They blamed you for canceling plans for $1 billion investment in Florida, said they were canceling 2,000 jobs. I saw other reports that suggested Disney was going to make the cuts anyway, and due to a larger, budget cutting initiative. Regardless of why they did it, why do you feel your fight with Disney remains important, considering you already beat them on the parental rights bill that they opposed? And what would you say to some of your opponents in this race who argue that the fight has dragged on too long?
So first of all,
so from Cat Turd here. And Cat Turd's a Trumper, and I say that as somebody who's not anti-Trump. I voted for Trump twice. So it's not like he's just a Trump fan. No, I voted for Trump twice, full disclosure. But he points out the problem with the DeSantis launch on Twitter Spaces wasn't the glitches and crashes. The problem was it was a boring snooze fest. Nobody being honest can say otherwise. And like, I'm listening to it right now. This is
Florida stands for the protection of children. We believe jamming.
Is it just his voice? Like, I know my voice can get a little grating after a while, but what is it about DeSantis that where his voice is just like after 30 seconds, after a couple minutes, it's like nails on a chalkboard. I don't know if I could listen to him give an hour-and-a-half speech like a State of the Union or something. I don't know. That would be interesting to hypothesize. You know, I don't know how I would do with that.
Gender ideology in elementary school is wrong. Disney obviously supported injecting gender ideology in elementary school. They did oppose our parents' rights legislation. And the fact is, when they opposed it, that was a big deal because for 50 years, anytime Disney wanted something in Florida politics, they pretty much got it. But not this time. I signed the bill. We did, as you say, win on the issue. But what happened was Disney's posturing, some of the other statements that their executives were making, kind of the corporate culture had really been outed as trying to inject matters of sex into the programming for the youth. And I think a lot of parents, including me, look at that and say, that's not appropriate. I mean, we want our kids to be able to just be kids. And that's kind of our mantra. So you had this setup that Disney engineered many decades ago, where they actually had their own government that they controlled with no accountability. They were exempt from the laws that all their competitors had.
All right, so he's spot on there. I agree with most of what he's saying, but I saw this poll from Tim Young, which is pretty funny. Now that Ron DeSantis has officially announced that he's running for president, who are you voting for? Trump, DeSantis, or Tim Scott? Who the hell honestly thinks that Tim Scott is a viable candidate? I know nothing about him, other than the fact that because he's a black man, they made the campaign logo basically him without a face. It's just a black blob in a suit. It's like, dude, this is no different than when you have like a progressive candidate or whatever, where they just put in like a black figure of a person, where it's like, oh, well, yeah, well, here's our black person. It's like, dude, it's, oh my God. I mean, Tim Scott might be a nice guy, but I know nothing about him other than the fact that people are trying to, roll him out as the black conservative. It's like, dude, that's so messed up. Well, I just want to see where this is at without affecting. Oh my God. Now, I don't know how Tim Young's fan base or his follower base on Twitter normally votes, but 66% said Trump. I mean, he's got a 30-point lead in the polls before this whole Twitter space. And I can't imagine that it's going to get much different. Like, I'm sorry. Oh my God, Trump shared this? That's hilarious. Let's see. Michael Tracy said, still waiting for a single media event, not a press conference that he orchestrates where DeSantis is subjected to actual substantive questioning and not just a sound of uninterrupted ass-kissing. Say what you will about Trump, but he does this fairly regularly. I don't know, because I've seen DeSantis have to answer questions from reporters. My point is, it's not that he doesn't like have pushback from the reporters. It's just that I feel like everything is so carefully scripted and worded. Maybe that's because we're so early in. He wants to get the nomination. He has to do things the right way, or he's afraid he won't get the chance, right? But I'm not thrilled with what I'm hearing.
To follow massive tax breaks, and they even racked up municipal debt. And Florida basically put them on a pedestal many decades ago and joined the state with this one company at the hip. We just didn't feel that we were comfortable maintaining that relationship. And so we ended their self-governing status. So Disney has to live under the same laws as everybody.
Oh, hang on a
second.
second.
Pay the same tax.
DeSantis accused of plagiarizing President Trump's Great American Comeback message. Hang on, let's listen to this.
3 years ago, we launched the Great American Comeback. Tonight, I stand before you to share the incredible results.
I'm Ron DeSantis, and I'm running for president to lead our Great American Comeback.
3 years ago, we launched the Great American Comeback.
I don't know if that... plagiarizing, I think some of these people are just grasping at straws. Yeah, they said the same exact words, but it's like DeSantis could be referencing Trump's original slogan or whatever the hell you want to call it. I don't know if I would call that plagiarizing. Laura Loomer. Isn't Laura Loomer one of these kind of like nut jobs? I don't know. Tim Pool apparently was quoted as saying, "I don't think Ron DeSantis has the personality for being president." To be fair, we've had a lot of presidents that had no personality. We've had some that had way too much personality. Some would say Trump had too much personality. Say what you will, I mean, personality is important. I'm curious. I want to see opinion from somebody who is a DeSantis fanatic. Dave Raboy. How do you spell his name? Here we go. This guy is obsessed with DeSantis. What did he have to say? Okay, so unironically this. DeSantis likely understands that foreign policy is only a means to secure the way of life for America's citizens here in this country. If you have more ambitious goals than that, you will sacrifice the most important things. Somebody had asked why no talk of foreign policy. Let's see, he retweeted Ben Shapiro saying, "Tonight was a perfect encapsulation of the campaign. If you're obsessed with the optics of the Twitter Spaces glitch, then you're probably not going to vote DeSantis. If you're interested in political substance, DeSantis is likely your candidate." I'm not sure about that, but let's keep looking. Okay, Tommy Lahren, who I have no use for, talking about how he's talking about the country instead of talking about himself. I get it. Trump's an egotist. He's a narcissist. Nobody ever said he wasn't. Yeah, some shots at Truth Social, and I get it. Truth Social is kind of a joke. But this is my biggest concern. My biggest problem with this entire thing is how many people that are obsessed with the no, it's going to be Trump or it's got to be DeSantis. How many of those people are just going to flat out not turn up and vote if their guy doesn't get in? That's what I find to be the most concerning. I don't care which one it is, personally. I get it. Some people are going to be really butthurt if it's not the guy that they want. Hey, that's life. That's politics. And if you can't make your peace with that, you shouldn't be voting in the first place. Because just like watching like a show like American Idol or some cooking contest, the guy that you want to win is not likely to win most of the time. I just kind of look at it that way. The odds are it won't win. But these people that are like, oh my God, the country's in such bad shape. We need DeSantis or we need Trump. And you go, literally, you're going to say it has to be one or the other when we've had 4 years of this friggin' god-awful shit show in the White House. Like, that's going to cause you to not vote for one or the other. DeSantis describes why he chose to make his announcement on Twitter. Talk about the importance of Twitter. Okay, this is a long one. This is 4 minutes, but I want to listen to this one.
All right, thank you, Governor. Appreciate that. I guess just as a first follow-up here, thank you for putting up with these technical issues. I think we're definitely breaking new ground here. As far as I know, no major presidential candidate has ever announced their candidacy on social media this way. Certainly in a Twitter space. So thank you for doing that. What made you want to kind of take the chance of doing it this way, as opposed to just doing it on cable news or the usual way?
Well, when COVID hit, I had to make decisions about, do you go with the crowd or do you look at the data yourself and cut against the grain? And I chose to do the latter. I faced huge blowback for doing that from the bureaucracy, from elites, from the media. But my view was I had to look out for the people I represented, prefer protecting their jobs over trying to safeguard my own political hide. But it was very, very lonely in a lot of those decisions. And part of the reason it was so lonely is because there was a concerted effort to try to stifle dissent. There was an official narrative about lockdowns, about closing schools, about forced masking, about all these different things that we had to navigate during COVID. And it was an orthodoxy being enforced by the major tech platforms in conjunction with the federal government. And if we can't have an honest debate in a free country about
So again, I'm going to go back to this, and I don't mean to beat a dead horse here, but before I hear any of these guys talk about how they were against the lockdowns, how they were against the vaccine rollout, how they were against any of this push to lock down the country and close businesses and do all this 15 days or to slow the spread, or 14 days, whatever the fuck it was. I need one of them to at least own their shit when it comes to the fact that they went along with it. Okay, they went along with it. Look, as a small business, as a food business, my family, our sales were massively hurt, but at least we were able to still go to work during COVID, right? But because we were essential, which is a horrible term in the first place. But like, Trump doesn't own it. Trump doesn't say, oh yeah, I shouldn't have ever pushed the vaccine rollout so quickly. We should have taken more time. I shouldn't have gone along with the lockdowns. We should have questioned more of this. We should have pushed against all this. DeSantis is saying he did, but it's like he went right along with it too at the beginning. Maybe he jumped off the wagon sooner than Trump did. I mean, Trump is still out there touting how great the vaccine is, which is, again, that's a whole separate topic. But I'm not ever hearing DeSantis say, you know what, that was a mistake. We fucked up. He's saying how, oh, well, I was the first state to reopen. That's great. That's good. That's a positive step. But I want one of these guys to actually own their shit. And I just don't think it's ever going to happen.
Issues that affect hundreds of millions of people, like lockdowns, then what good is the First Amendment at that point? Those are precisely the times when we needed to have debate be robust. You should not be taking down articles that criticize those draconian policies, and yet that's exactly what happened. So it occurred to me that if that had continued, I think free speech in this country was on its way out the door. And so when Elon Musk stepped up to purchase Twitter, he paid a lot of money for it. And I'm sure because he's a good businessman, Elon, I'm sure you'll end up making money off it. But bottom line is you had to put your money where your mouth is, because I think you recognize that you can't have a free society unless we have the freedom to debate the most important issues that are affecting our civilization. That did not happen during COVID. The truth was censored repeatedly. And now that Twitter is in the hands of a free speech advocate, that would not be able to happen again on this Twitter platform. So I think what was done with Twitter is really significant for the future of our country. We cannot have a society in which government is colluding with major tech platforms to enforce an orthodoxy.
Well, thank you. Yeah, we're absolutely committed to freedom of speech and a level playing field.
Okay, now this is funny.
And just a vigorous debate, and hopefully,
this is funny right here. Oh, where'd that go? Again, look, it's a good sign. It's a positive sign that they got so many people to join those Twitter spaces. I mean, hell, I don't go on Twitter spaces. Not one that has 10 people, not one that has 14,000 people. But so it wasn't a bad sign that there were so many people that it caused the servers to crash. My issue is Elon. We've heard all this controversy about how he fired all the tech people, he fired all the engineers, he didn't hire people that knew how to do things. But then Twitter seemed to be going, no problem, for me at least. It seemed to be working just fine for the last 6 months. Like, okay, Twitter seems to be going right along with less employees. Cool. But you plan this gigantic announcement knowing that it's going to overwhelm the servers and that you should probably have all hands on deck, and then it turned into a giant clusterfuck. I mean, I get that things happen, but why was there no planning ahead? It just seems pretty weird. This is funny though. This is creative. Let's see. I want to go back and see DeSantis a few years ago. There's from his debate where he became governor. I want to see this.
Mr. Gillum, I'll give you a chance to respond now.
Well, let me first say my grandmother used to say a hit dog will holler, and it hollered through this room. Mr. DeSantis has spoken. First of all, he's got neo-Nazis helping him out in this state. He has spoken at racist conferences. He's accepted a contribution and would not return it from someone who referred to the former president of the United States as a Muslim negative.
Mr. DeSantis.
This isn't a clip of him topic. I don't need to see somebody else like fluffing some dude that ran against him. I wanted to hear a clip from DeSantis. Is there? No. That's not a terrible debater. The guy had his 40 seconds to talk. All right, these people are fucktards. What can I say? So another current trend that I'm seeing among people who are sharing this disaster hashtag, like, look, I can look at it objectively and say, I'm voting for him or Trump. I don't care which. But this Twitter space thing was a clusterfuck, right? But the people that are sharing the hashtag, 99% of them are just people who hated him to begin with. Not Republicans, not Trumpers, the left-wingers, the Democrats, people who think he's actual Nazi or fascist or whatever. I think that was pretty much the highlights from the Twitter space. Again, not very exciting. Not a whole lot to write home about, unfortunately. Let's see. So Trump took to his own platform, Truth Social, and shared a video contrasting the Twitter space glitches to his own campaign announcement. Well, his campaign announcement at Mar-a-Lago was kind of a snoozer, too. To be fair, when he did that in person, that was very boring.
An American. And I won't forget the men who died.
We are kind of melting the servers.
And I'm proud to be an American.
Upset the narrative control imposed on us by our government.
Governor DeSantis.
I don't know. See, none of this is that funny to me. I'm sorry. It's like, I just want to see DeSantis and Trump actually have a debate where it's not just name calling, it's not just scripted political rhetoric, where it's not any of this shit that we've seen before, where it's like 17 dudes on stage and Trump has just got, little Marco and Lion's Head and all that kind of stuff. Like, can we just have these two, one debate, lay out all the big nasty topics, get that shit out of the way, and just decide on one of them and vote? Because honestly, I'm going to say again, it doesn't matter which one of the two guys it is. We're still going to be 10 times better off with either one of them than we are in the situation we're in right now. There's no question. But I'm just so sick and tired of it all just being so, it has to be one or the other. Guys, the country is going down the shitter right now with the current direction that we have from the administration that's in place. It's like, there's never been a worse time in this country. Which is crazy because we were coming off of like one of the best economies we ever had. Literally like one of the best ever. This was an interesting one. Jack Dorsey calling for all the U.S. intelligence agencies to be broken up into 1,000 pieces. Like, dude, you were literally in bed with all the intelligence agencies. Like, give me a break. I don't know. It's interesting, though. It'll be interesting to see what happens tomorrow. I want to see, and this is a really funny one, Elon Musk had actually said that he wanted to get Robert Kennedy Jr. on a Twitter space. He wanted to get Donald Trump on a Twitter space. He even wanted to get Bill Clinton on a Twitter, not Bill Clinton. Oh my God. Joe Biden. Sorry, I saw Bill Gates' face and suddenly I went to Clinton somehow. He wants to get Joe Biden on a Twitter space. Like, good luck with that, dude. Joe Biden doesn't even, like, change his underwear without help. Okay? He is not going to go on a Twitter space. Absolutely not. Biggest room ever held. Yeah, how many people actually tuned in? 2.1 million tuned in. Well, look, I tried tuning in and it kicked me out. The damn thing froze. So, all presidential candidates are most welcome on this platform. Interesting. I mean, it was an interesting day. It's a bummer that it didn't work out. It's funny to laugh at now, but I was honestly disappointed because I actually wanted to hear what they were going to talk about, and listening to it like recapped, it's just not satisfying. I don't know. Well, I think that pretty much covers the extent of it. So I can't imagine that we're going to see Trump on a Twitter space, but according to Benny Johnson, in fact, let me see if I can find the tweet. He spoke with Trump's people And apparently Trump is going to be going back on Twitter, like actually coming back. So I wonder if this is actually correct. Elon claiming that Twitter account signups just went ballistic. I mean, that wouldn't shock me. All of a sudden you have people who either stopped using Twitter or who had never been on Twitter suddenly going, oh, maybe I should get on there. It's a great idea. The Twitter Space thing as a platform for discussion, debate, news topics, whatever, you know, those are all interesting ideas. I like having something different. It's the same idea as having different tech platforms for posting videos, for website hosting and shit. It's nice to have options, but if you're gonna do it, you have to have the manpower and you have to have the infrastructure to make it work. You can't have this where it's like, if Donald Trump actually decided to go on here with Elon, which he never would, because Elon said that he wants DeSantis to win, so Trump's ego won't ever let him go on with Elon. But let's say Trump did. If Trump went and did a Twitter Space with Elon Musk, and you can bet your ass they would have 2 million people in that space in a matter of minutes. Okay, it would dwarf this DeSantis thing at least 10 to 1, maybe 30 to 1. Twitter would never be able to maintain it. It would never stay up. It would crash instantly. So, great idea. I like how, it's a different approach to actually getting news disseminating to people through a different platform other than like mainstream media cable channels. It's a great idea. But you have to execute. You can't just say, oh, we're going to do it this way. No. All right, well, I'm going to go hit the hay, guys. It's been interesting to say the least. But maybe we'll see more tomorrow. I'm not entirely sure like when Trump is officially coming back to Twitter. All I know is the world's a lot more funny and interesting when Trump is on Twitter. As somebody who has a Truth Social account, I don't go on there. I just don't. I post links to my videos on there. I don't engage with people on there. So it'll be nice to have Trump actually using Twitter again. That'll be a little breath of fresh air. But if anything changes, I will definitely be covering it. I'll probably make a video on the second channel talking about it. And in the meantime, guys, I don't know. Just gotta sit back and see how this goes, I guess. Not much else we can do.